Remember back in January when I mentioned that I was not going to buy as many books in 2025? Forget I said that. Forget it. Just forget it. Because I have another book haul. Hi everyone, I'm Rhonda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Yes, today I have another book haul. I just did one last month, and the month before that, and the month before that. And every one of those videos I said I need to stop buying books. I had a goal of not buying as many books this year, but yet here we are. So I have about 19 books that I have acquired since my last book haul last month, and we're just going to get right into it. These books came from the usual retailers, Barnes & Noble, I think I have a book from Target, Half Price Books, and Book of the Month, and Amazon. So let's go ahead and get going. I want to start with my Book of the Month picks. The one that I picked was the romance that they had, and that is Passion Project by London Sperry. I've already read this and it was excellent. In fact, I did a more in-depth wrap-up / mini review in my last video, so definitely go check that out if you want to know how I rated it and what I thought about this book. But spoiler alert, I loved it. I also got Fun for the Whole Family by Jennifer E. Smith. I think this is just a contemporary fiction about a family that was once close growing up, but something happens, and as adults they've kind of just drawn away from each other and they need to come back for some reason or another, and I think they're doing a road trip. But I haven't read this one yet. I've heard it's really good. Cannot wait to get to it. And then finally, as an add-on, I got The Bright Years by Sarah Damoff, or Damoff, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This is a debut novel by this author, and it was incredible. This is another book that I talked more about in that recent reads video, so again, please go check that video out. But this was amazing. It was incredible. It was emotional. I could not stop crying. I was not okay after reading this. I could not believe that this was a first-time writer. Amazing. Next up is an art book that I got from a friend of mine. She is a librarian at our daughter's middle school. And in Texas, they have something called the Texas Librarians Association. And every year they have a convention. And this year it was in Dallas. And Catherine Center was there when my friend went, because again, she is a librarian. And she was able to get an art copy of The Love Haters, and she had it signed just for me, because I am actually the person who told her about Catherine Center and told her that she should check out her books, and she loves her books, and got to meet her, got to take a picture with her, and was able to get this art copy signed just for me. I was really moved that she did that for me. But love this book. It was so good. This is her newest release. It comes out on May 20th, but I read it, loved it. This is also included in that recent reads video. Next, let's talk about the one book that I got from Target this month, and that is Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher, and this was strictly a cover buy. I mean, look how gorgeous these colors are on this cover, and then it has like a turquoise sprayed edges, and then the cover, it does have these pretty end pages, but the cover has a sword. I have read one other T. Kingfisher book, and it is A Sorceress Comes to Call. That's kind of like a dark gothic fantasy, and I did enjoy that. I really did, and I wanted to read more from her. And all I know about this one is this is a fantasy romance, and I think this has just been re-released in a special edition, because I think it was written like in 2017, 18, 19, somewhere around that, and it just got re-released in this pretty version, which I'm so thankful for. All I know about this one, it is about, I think, a widowed housekeeper who finds a sword, and when she does something with the sword, this man, it reveals himself, and he is her protector of some sort. I'm not entirely sure, but I do want to read it. Like I said, I did read one other book by this author, and I did enjoy it, and I want to read more, and this sounds like something I could enjoy. So beautiful, beautiful book. Next up are 3 books that I got from Half Price Books. These are 3 books that I bought used. First is The Lost Husband by Catherine Center. I believe this is one of Catherine Center's earlier books that she wrote, and I just saw this right before I did this video, but it is also signed. It says, "To or for Mary Margaret, hope you have a great read. Love, Catherine Center," which is amazing. Thank you, Mary Margaret, for getting rid of your book and selling it to Half Price Books so that I can have another Catherine Center autographed book. So all I know about this one is it is about a woman named Libby who, I believe her husband has passed away and she is a single mom with kids now, and she's looking to start over. So her great aunt who lives in Texas Hill Country offers her a job on the farm. So Libby moves her and her children to this farm to work for her aunt. And while she's there, she meets the farm manager, who is this handsome, grumpy guy, and it just says, beyond the animals and the strenuous work, there is quiet, a deep country quiet, but there is also a shaggy, gruff farm manager with a tragic home life, a formerly famous feed store clerk who claims she can contact her husband on the other side, and the eccentric Aunt Libby who never really knew, but who turns out to be exactly what she's been looking for. And despite everything she's lost, Libby soon realizes how much more she's found. She hasn't just traded one kind of crazy for another. She may have actually found the place to bring her little family and herself back to life. So this one just sounds like it's going to be a great read. It's going to be perfect for the spring or possibly for the summer. I got that. And then I also got The Royals Next Door by Karina Haley or Haley. I don't know. I've never heard of this author, but she has quite the backlist. I was looking at some of her other books, and it's an extensive backlist. She has so many books. But all I know about this one, and first let's look at the cover. That is so pretty. This is, again, gonna be perfect for this spring and summertime. So all I know about this one is it's about a woman named Piper and some royals move next door, I think. I think Prince Harry and Meghan. And there is a romance between her and the handsome bodyguard that these royals bring with them, I think. Yeah, it says an ordinary summer goes royally awry when a prince and princess move next door, bringing their handsome bodyguard with them. So that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good little spring or summer book. And then finally, I got this beast, Gone with the Wind. This is only $10 at my Half Price Books. This was originally not on my radar to read this year, but I was chatting with one of you a couple of months ago or 3 months ago, I don't remember. But we were talking about classics. I think she read a classic, and I was saying I don't really read classics anymore. I feel like I did my duty in high school and college with all of the classics that I did read. But I asked her, I said, if you were going to recommend a classic for me to read this year, which one would it be? And she suggested Gone with the Wind. And I was like, oh, okay. I've never had that on my radar, never considered reading that book. I have never read it. I've never seen the movie. All I know about it is it's about Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler and the Civil War, and that's it. What I didn't know was this page is over 900 pages. Like 950 pages, and the type in here is teeny tiny. I don't know if you can see that, but it's so small. This is going to take me a long time to read, but I'm intrigued. I went on Goodreads, and I have some friends who gave this 5 stars, so I definitely want to try and read this year. So thank you, I think it was Angela, for recommending this book. I'm definitely going to try and read this. I do have an audio that I have a hold on. Hopefully I'll get it soon, but I kind of want to listen to it and physically read it at the same time sometime this year. But thank you for recommending this. Hopefully I'll love it. So that is the last book that I got from Half Price Books. Did you hear that? It's so heavy. Hi, baby. Are you going to join us? Hi. This is Abby, by the way. Say hi to everyone. Yes, you're being a sweet. You smell like you were outside and you feel nice and warm, too. Okay. All right, I got 4 books from Amazon, 2 of which are cowboy romances. First, let's start with Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is, I want to say, I think the 4th and final book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. And I've read the first 3 and I have enjoyed them. I think I gave 2 of them 3 stars. And then the last one, what was that? Lost and Lassoed, I gave that 4 stars. I really liked those characters and I really loved that hate to love trope that was in that book. But this is the newest one. It just came out this month, and it says, she's the one that got away, he's the one that never let go. So this is kind of like a second chance romance. Cannot wait to finish this series. It's probably going to be another 3-star read, but I do enjoy cowboy romances. And just FYI, these are steamy books, so if you don't like those, you might want to skip. But cannot wait to finish this series. And then I had the first book of another cowboy romance series called Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. And this cover is really pretty. But this is the first book in the Silver Pines series, and I've been seeing this a little bit in the book universe. All it says is a woman returns to her family's ranch after a broken engagement and finds herself falling for her brother's best friend. So I've heard this is pretty steamy. I don't typically like steamy books, so I'm pretty good about being able to skim and skip the steamy parts, but I do love cowboy romances, and I'm happy to have another series to start. And the last 2 books I got from Amazon are Taylor Jenkins Reid books. I read my first TJR book last month. I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and that was a 5-star read. Loved it, and I want to read more. So I got Daisy Jones and the Six. Cannot wait to start this one. I think everyone knows what this is about. Think what is the backstory of Fleetwood Mac, and that's what you'll have in this book. And then the other one I have is Carrie Soto is back, and I've heard amazing things about this one. This is about Carrie Soto, who comes out of retirement to get back into playing tennis professionally. And I know that we are introduced to Carrie Soto in another book called Malibu Rising, which I do have that as well. So I'm going to read Malibu Rising this summer, and then I'm going to read this one after it. But I cannot wait to read more TJR books just because I loved Evelyn Hugo. That was such a good book. Now the last stack of books are 7 books that I got from Barnes & Noble this month, and let's start with Better Than the Movies. I do have the Barnes & Noble special edition, but this was their cafe book of the month, or whatever, you know, the little books that they put in the cafe. They're $5 if you buy something from the cafe. Well, this special edition was the one that they had up there, so I grabbed it because my oldest daughter, who's about to turn 13, she mentioned that she wanted to read this. So I went ahead and picked it up because it was only $5, so that I can read it first and see if it's appropriate for her. This is a YA romance, and I don't typically read YA romances. I do read YA mysteries and thrillers and YA fantasies, but not romance. I've heard this is really good and it's so cute, so I have that one. And then I have another YA book, and that is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I bought this for my youngest daughter. She is 11. She wanted to read this, and she got maybe a third of the way through, and she said, "Mom, this isn't for me." So I told her when she finished reading it, give it to me because I want to read it too. I've heard this whole series is fantastic. So she gave it to me, and I'm going to add it to my stack of books. And my children do not respect books. They don't take care of their books, and it drives me crazy. But I do want to read this too. All right, next up is Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. And you guys know that one of my goals for the year, or some of the books on my 25 books, so my dog is down here and he is pushing my camera, so sorry about that. But I did a video where I did the 25 books I want to read in 2025, and the whole Throne of Glass series was part of that video. So I've already started. I read Throne of Glass, and then I read Assassin's Blade, and now I just started Crown of Midnight last night. I'm only like 40 pages in. So I wanted to have the next book in the series on hand so that I can pick it up when I finish Crown of Midnight. So I'm just kind of reading them slowly as I have time. But I got Air of Fire. The next book I got is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I wasn't going to buy this book. This is actually the very last book in the series. I have read Powerless, Powerful, and Reckless, and I liked them but didn't love them. I think all of them, with the exception of Powerful, only got 3 stars for me. So because I wasn't blown away by these books, I wasn't planning on buying this. However, this is the very last book in the series, and I decided, since I've already read the others, might as well finish it and read the last book. So that's why I got it. This is a YA fantasy romance, and I bought the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and really there's nothing special about it. There's no pretty end pages or sprayed edges. It just has some foiling on the cover, and that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's extra chapters in it or not, but I'm not going to talk about what this is about in case you haven't read the series yet. But this is just the conclusion to Peyton's story, and the last book, Reckless, did leave on quite the cliffhanger. It wasn't anything mind-blowing. It was actually kind of predictable, but I do want to know what happens. So I'm not anxious to read this, but when I'm ready to finish the series, I have it on hand. The next book I bought is Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent. This is a novella, and it's part of the Crowns of Nyaxia series. Crowns of Nyaxia is an adult fantasy romance series, and it's made up of duologies. There's going to be 2 duologies for a total of 6 books with 3 novellas. So I've read the first duology, and I read the novella for that duology. I read the first book in the second duology, and this is the novella for that duology. Hopefully that makes sense. But this is just a fantasy romance, an adult fantasy romance series that features vampires and humans. I loved The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. That was an amazing book. The second book in that duology was good. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It wasn't as good as the first one. The novella in that series was Six Scorched Roses, and I loved the novella. So I definitely wanted to pick this up. I've heard it's good. This was already actually published independently, and Carissa Brabant's books have gotten picked up by a major publisher, so they re-released it in hardback form, and I waited to read this so that I can get the hardback to match my other books. But with this one, I really don't know what it's about. I kind of want to go in blind, but the little blurb on the flap says, she was commanded to kill him with a single strike to the heart. She didn't expect one of her own to betray her. And I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and this is the hardcover, which is really pretty. So I have this novella to read. Cannot wait to get to that one. And then I got Abby Jimenez's new book, and that is Say You'll Remember Me. I did get the exclusive edition, and with the exclusive edition, you have these really beautiful end pages that says everything starts with you and ends with you. So I really love those end pages. I think that's really pretty. And also, as part of the exclusive content is you have an excerpt of Abby Jimenez's next book that's being released next spring, and I did read it, and what I'm getting at is I think this book is going to be part of a new interconnected standalone series, which I'm very excited about. So with this one, I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. This is also featured in that recent reads video. I do think I liked Just for the Summer more. That was more emotional, and it just hit harder for me. I still enjoyed this one. It still had classic Abby Jimenez rom-com funny moments that she just takes from real life that just really hit home, and it was a good book. But go check out the recent reads videos if you want to learn more about some of these books that I already read. All right, I had to change my battery real quick, but the last book that I got from Barnes & Noble is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I just picked it up this morning, and I cannot wait to get started. I do have the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and with that edition, you just have these really pretty gingham end pages, and I love gingham. It's so country and pretty. And then on the cover, it has some really pretty gold foiling, and it just says, "It was brief and it was beautiful." All I know about this one, and this is another one, I just want to go in blind. I don't want to hear a lot about it. I want to form my own opinions. But it's about 2 characters who are vying to write the biography, or who are competing against each other to write the biography of someone famous. So I've heard this is a little bit Evelyn Hugo-ish, and I'm not mad about that. I loved Evelyn Hugo. I thought it was fantastic. So I don't mind reading another book that has like a similar plot. But I've heard that the romance is more of a subplot. So that is what I'm going into with this book, is expecting more of just a general fiction book with a little romance mixed in. So cannot wait to get started on Great Big Beautiful Life. So I told you guys I had 19 books. I actually lied. I have 20 books because Amazon just delivered another book, and that is The Perfect Divorce by Geneva Rose. And this is actually the sequel to A Perfect Marriage. Have I read The Perfect Marriage? No, but I have it. I have it right here. Whenever she released the special edition, whoops, that's not it. Here it is. So she released a special edition version with bloody sprayed edges, and it has some artwork in here somewhere. Yeah, there's artwork in here, and it's just a really cool, these pretty end pages. It's just a really cool special edition. So I bought it to read it, and it's on my TBR shelf, but because I had the first one, I had to buy the second one. But just like the first book, it has bloody sprayed edges. And then I haven't really looked at this. I don't know if it has any artwork inside. No, it does not. And then the end pages are red. I think the Barnes & Noble end pages have a design. And then on the cover, it just has a white cover with some blood splatter. So did I need to buy this one? No, especially since I haven't read the first book. But even if I don't like it, I still think these covers are really cool, and I will hang on to them and put them on my bookshelf just because they look amazing, and they're going to look amazing on my bookshelf. But all I know about this series is The Perfect Marriage is about a woman whose husband is being accused of murdering his mistress, and she is a criminal defense attorney, and her husband wants her to defend him in court against these charges. And then The Perfect Divorce is the conclusion to that story. All right, my friends, these are the 20 books that I purchased in the month of April, and I need to stop buying books. I seriously have a problem. I really need to stop, for real. Like, I need to stop. That's all there is to it. Anyway, of these 20 books, I have already read 4 books, so that's good. And I will be reading Great Big Beautiful Life before the end of the month, so that will be 5 out of the 20, so I'll just have 15 books to add to my physical TBR. And all these books behind me are all the books I have not read yet. This is my physical TBR right here, so I have to stop buying books. I really do. But let me know if you've read any of these. Did you like them? Did you not? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do all the things. And if you don't want to comment, but you want to let me know that you were here until the end, give me a book emoji, just because we're in this together, right? If you're watching this video, it's probably because you enjoy buying books too. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.